Today's episode is about the ultimate guide to success inside business operations. And I'm going to give you an overview of what that is, what it encompasses. And then over the course of the next several episodes, we're going to break those down even further. Because ultimately, we know that all organizations, regardless of size or industry or maturity, have a set foundational piece of activities that are required to run the business. And this is called business operations. This is what creates sustainability and scalability over time. And successfully managing your business operations requires juggling all these moving parts across multiple groups, but sometimes it can be limited with time or resources. And ultimately, we need to become a person who is willing to do the due diligence and the diligent maintenance and become well-informed strategic planners so that we ultimately can create a high level of discipline inside the execution of our business. And success is achieved by defining great strategies and implementing them relentlessly. Whereas failure is almost always caused by two things, either bad strategies or ineffective implementation of operationals. And so execution without strategy is always chaos. And you want to be able to set yourself up with strategies and establish targets at a regular interval that is ultimately creating development and maintaining of effective operational strategies. This means that you can ensure that you have the right team in place at the right time, that things are prioritized correctly, that there's proper support, that there's proper training, and that ultimately all strategies and initiatives will be executed at a high level that creates sustainability and success inside your business, because this is what actually drives the overall success of your business. And so you want to execute all of these practices. And the practices that I'm speaking of is strategic planning, operational design, initiative execution, and then business intelligence. And so these are four different things that really work in a circular motion, and we have to have all of them so that we can begin to hit each of the benchmarks, which starts that wheel and keeps it in motion, and then ultimately snowballs into full sustainability and scalability inside your business. But it comes down to these operational strategies. So the first one, as I said, was strategic planning. This is the biggest challenge that I see inside of business operations is there is a lack of alignment between initiatives and actual strategies. And this often sets a strategic plan, or a leader can set up a strategic plan, but it becomes overwhelming with the people that we have in place, or even for ourselves, which then creates a low level of priority. And what happens is the leader and or other people in the organization begin to lose focus and deadlines begin to fall through the cracks. And so overlooking a good strategic plan is extremely costly and can cause serious downstream turns within the foundations of the organization. And therefore, future efforts are no longer sustainable or scalable over time. And so a strong strategic plan is absolutely key to positioning your organization for success with the right investments, utilizing the right people at the right time, utilizing the right softwares or systems, and then also making sure that each of those things that are put into place have a specific performance, measuring of that performance, and that they align across the board within the company. And strategic plans start with identifying your organizational vision, a mission, a set of core tenets, and set of objectives. And when you can define these, this approach then allows for tactics to drive success, and the strategy does not exist inside of a vacuum, but it ultimately aligns with all of the corporate vision and foundations that you have laid in place. All right, so next is operation design. And again, we're going to dive deeper into other episodes and break these down a little bit further. But operational design establishes the systems, the processes, the rhythms, the templates, anything that the organization is going to use to run the business on a day-to-day basis. And operations as a whole is an ecosystem that ensures that your team has the set right of tools to complete the work that needs to be done, but also the standard of operating procedures so that they can grow and we're not overburdening them, but they're learning the skills of those operational procedures as you go with the tools that are needed. And this ultimately will create a positive environment within your team because things are getting done. There's a sense of accomplishment. There's a high level of efficiency and self-integrity within that. And therefore, there's a higher level of scalability and sustainability long-term. So there's never this feeling of, I may not have a job because the company is in this position or that position. And a well-designed business operational environment makes this very streamlined. You can recognize when you have poorly designed environments because there's huge negative impacts on the team, there's morale issues, and ultimately the business will end up having issues with scalability and sustainability over time. And so it's very important that we develop these operational standards because it will create significant efficiencies versus inefficiencies within the business. The third piece is the initiative of execution. Initiative of execution is vital because it is where the rubber meets the road. You are bringing your strategy to life, and it's imperative that you have the right operational pieces that we just spoke about in place so that the team members know the plans and they can execute appropriately and they can do it without really, there's no default behind it. They don't have to sit and go, should I do this? Should I not do this? They just know. And the key part of that is understanding how each task within your operating procedures and each piece of software or system or anything like that, how it all relates together and that it works within each other for the larger strategy and goal. And so ultimately that requires obviously some effective project management so that there is ways to track and be well organized and deliver the best results within each of those pieces. And ultimately, you can ensure strategic initiatives are well organized when you do the first two pieces, which is the strategic planning and the operational designs, because this allows you to identify gaps so that you can continue to improve those. And again, the execution of that becomes stronger and stronger and stronger, which allows you to develop stronger strategic plans, stronger operational designs, allows for greater sustainability and scalability, and ultimately you are hitting each and every one of those benchmarks. So how do we know that's all happening? Well, that's the fourth piece, and that is business intelligence. So consider business intelligence as a part of the overall business operations strategy. This is a focus on creating necessary tools that measure each of your projects, measure the overall organization's health, and metrics and views that you want to develop that you would have be as a part to see if something is working so that you can make informed data-based business decisions so that you can pull data so that you can pull reports. And each initiative should be measurable and benchmarked against other initiatives. This impacts the collective of all the initiatives, which allows you to measure data, metrics, and your strategic plans so that you can make better decisions about the organization's overall strategies and do it in ways that are following a business cycle so that we don't have an entire quarter or 2 quarters or an entire year run by and we're not making decisions that are truly data-based so that we can improve the model, we can improve forecasting, we can improve standard operating procedures, we can improve the systems that are being used inside the business. Because ultimately, operations as a whole is a forever fluid thing that is constantly going. And that's why we talk about these 4 things of strategic planning, operational design, initiative of execution, and then the business intelligence. And business operations then becomes a symphony inside of that because the strategy, the systems, the execution, and the intelligence is what is going to make your organization run. This ensures that each element is in place to bring harmony inside your organization that allows for optimal performance and sustainability and growth over time. So bring all of those pieces together, and that ultimately is your guide to success inside of business operations. So on our next episodes, we will begin to break each of those down, begin thinking about those things now, and ultimately you will begin to create a fully sustainable and scalable business in a short matter of time.